Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. This is 3 conferences in one. That is 2-day conference in 3-pronged subjects. The renewable energy, efficiency and stable solution for a green economy, water security, and innovative and power solution for a sustainable growth, and the waste to energy, innovation technology for smart waste solution. Why these 3 in one? The answer is they are connected, they are interdependent, and one creates the need for the other. Say water. Water through agriculture generates food. Food through consumption creates energy, and energy consumption creates waste. Ladies and gentlemen, it's very difficult to deal water in such a short time. Mr. Povli has given by and large the macro statistics of water. But water is such an essential thing. On the one hand, when I see water is life, there is no life without water. And on the other hand, when I see the process of economic development and human meeting of aspiration and improvement in quality of life, standard of living, and meeting the other aspirations, I find that economic development is water thirsty, which means the more economic development, the more is the consumption of water. And more is the consumption of water, more is the generation of wastewater. So one has to see the balance between the availability of fresh water and the recycling, reuse, recycling of the wastewater. Today, globally, the 10% water is recycled. In case of cities like Yokohama, it is 99%. In case of Denmark, it is about 85%. In case of Israel, it is again about 90 to 95%. Singapore is also in the range of 85 to 90%. Now, looking at this, and the food and energy nexus is central to sustainable development. Demand for all the 3 is increasing, driven by rising global population, rapid urbanization, change in dietary habits, and economic growth. Agriculture is the largest consumer of the world's freshwater resources, and more than 1/4 of the energy is consumed by the food production, generation of food production, its processing, storage, and the supply chain. 1/3 of your energy is gone into the food. The remaining 1/3 goes into the generation of power. Today, the coal-based power or thermal-based power or nuclear power consumes nearly 1/3 of the total fresh water. It is demineralized water which is used in the boilers. And this demineralizing process is quite time-consuming, expensive, and is limited technology. With this, we come to and we look at, for increasing the agriculture production, the inexplicable linkage between these crucial domains require a suitably integrated approach to ensuring water and food security and sustainable agriculture and energy production worldwide, and the energy and food security. With the change in technology, the electricity is now moving to, say, renewable energy. A major thrust is towards the renewable energy. On the face of it, the renewable energy is not water intensive because it is a solar cell which convert the solar heat and the solar light into electricity. It is the wind which converts the wind energy into electric energy. But when we look at the manufacturing process of the 2, the chip manufacturing is one of the most water intensive industries. An economic size of plant for the manufacture of chip requires something like 10 million gallons of water per day. Similarly, the rare earth metals which go into the manufacture of the chip also require huge quantities of water for their manufacture. Therefore, whether you look at renewable energy, whether you look at coal energy, whether you look at fossil energy, water is is a must. Water is an integral input and a component. So looking at the importance of water, we feel that this being a finite resource, having severe exponentially increasing demand and more people and usages. So ensuring everyone has access to a reliable supply, it is crucial to human survival and sustainable progress. As water resources become more stretched, the energy and food sectors' dependence on water and the fact that all the three underpin several of the sustainable development goals means that decision makers in all the three domains are now increasingly focusing on water resource management, ecosystem protection, and water supply and sanitation as part of their policy and practice. To achieve this, energy input is a must, even for water, whether it is water procurement, water storage, water transportation, water pumping, and water for distribution to the ultimate consumer. Now, looking at the economic thrust for water, the energy, whether it's energy production or consumption, it creates pollution and emission, including CO2 and greenhouse gases. That is energy when you produce, say, fossil fuels, the oil, the gas, the shale oil, the shale gas, the coal bed methane, all these require water injection and water in large quantities. Therefore, to have fossil fuel also, you need water. For human existence, development, and growth, it's sustainable. Energy and water are a must. Food energy is the enabler of all sources of energy. That is human mind, the ultimate source of all non-cosmic energy. It is the small piece created by the God, which is the most powerful source of all energy. Now, this important compound, H2O, is composed of hydrogen and oxygen. It is abundant in nature, but only 2.5% is usable water, of which 2/3 is in glaciers. Now, it improves through improved technology, innovation of desalination propelled by renewable energy gives us a solace that the seawater can be desalined and made fit for use for at least other than drinkable purposes. To that extent, this will ease the water availability, but in order to have those solar cells, in order to have the renewable energy through the solar cells, we again will need fresh water to manufacture those cells and the chips. Thus, the water is in a huge quantity, is a must for fossil fuel as well as for the renewable energy. Now, looking at the India's water position, we have 4,000 billion cubic meters of water, of which 1,047 billion cubic meters is lost and in evaporation. 1,084 billion cubic meters is non-available water, which runs down. The only available water is 1,869 billion cubic meters. Of this, the usable water is only 1,123 billion cubic meters. Of this, 395 billion cubic meters is groundwater, and 728 billion cubic meters is the surface water, fresh water. Now, India consumes most of its water, usable water, for agriculture, while the household get only 5% of it. With the increasing population, pressure, and urbanization, this 5% will go up progressively to 20 to 25%, which will be a big stress on the availability of water. And similarly, through better irrigation, through better technology in irrigation, the productivity of water in agriculture has to be improved, and the total consumption of water in agriculture had to be brought down from 80% to something like 35 to 40% over the period up to 2050, which is a Herculean task, but there is no escape. It needs to be done. Why? Because if you look at the rain-fed cultivation, rain-fed agriculture, 60% of the world cultivable land is rain-fed. And this rain-fed, with the climate change, with the global warming, the rainfall is becoming more and more unpredictable. And there is an increase in the variability of this unpredictability, both in terms of time, in terms of quantity, in terms of intensity, and it is this intensity and variability which plays havoc with the water, which is life. That was one part of water which you saw, that is life. When we look at it, we find that 9 out of 10 disasters, human disasters, are water-related. It's a very startling statistics that 9 out of 10 disasters are water-related. And the problem in the disasters is that they go and they destroy both the human, through floods, landslides, tsunami, storms, heat waves, droughts, waterborne diseases. Hence, there is a need for climate control to limit global warming to 1.5% to 2%, to protect glaciers, to protect sea temperature, to protect sea level, and to save the coastal human habitation and livelihood. India has a large coastal population who is dependent to a great extent on the sea and sea products and the seafood. The coal-based power needs hydrogen, needs water. Hydrogen needs water. Basically, to split the water molecule, it requires electrolysis. Electrolysis again require, whether you do it from renewable or you do it from power, the coal-based power, water is again an integral part of it. Then there is a water for food production, water for wash. In Asia, the largest source of fresh water is Tibetan Plateau. There are 46,000 small and large glaciers in Tibet, which gives rise to almost 20 freshwater rivers. Of them, half of them enter India through Tibetan Peninsula. The water, having brought it to the plains, now the next question, as I said, there is an innovative use, and that how to conserve water, how to price water. Firstly, water is not treated as a commodity in India, by and large, except for some metropolitan and some upcoming cities. Most of the rural India doesn't accept water as a commodity. So first, the water is to be recognized as a commodity. It has to be priced. Once it is priced, then there has to be investment in water. And the investment in water can come from 3 sources. That is 3 T's: taxation, transfer, and tariff. Taxation is from the citizens by raising taxes. Transfer is by the government through state bodies, through 100% subsidy, through government-sponsored water schemes. And tariff, of course, is a very ticklish thing, as it is in the case of electricity. Despite 2 decades, the tariff remains still an elusive and complicated thing to salvage and generate vast investments in the area. Water is capital intensive, long gestation industry with huge losses in transportation, and last but not the least, quality sensitive. It is sensitive to quality, it is sensitive to time. That is a consumer, how much water he gets, when, of what quality, with what pressure, at what floor, at what price. And who bears all the expenditure when somebody may not use it for 15 days, somebody may use it for 24 hours, 20 hours in a day continuously. So the metering, which is essential for converting the water into money for investment, is a must. And then the investor looks at what is the source of revenue, what is the revenue stream, how to securitize the revenue stream, and the degree of certainty, the adequacy, the certainty, because water is, again, the source sustainability is a very big question in a rain-fed country and rain-fed agriculture, because you do not know whether the source is sustainable, for how long you will be able to provide water. And if you want an assured source, then the cost is going to be so high, perhaps it may not become viable. Even for the investment, to find for an investor in water, to find a consultant who can give that this water of this purity, of this quality, you can supply this much for so many days in a year to a particular habitat, family, village, or town. And if there is a consultant who can give you those parameters, the cost of the consultant is going to be so exorbitant that the investment in water itself may be at question. With these, I put an end to my brief account on how do we feel water and what is the importance of water in our daily thing, in our national thing, and in our global perspective. It is the water which the government of India had introduced in 2019, that is 4 years back, Garg Nal Jal. This mission has provided household tap water, 50 liters a day, to 9.5 crore household. In 2019, there were about 3.29 households who were having access to potable water at their premises, which has now gone up to 12 crore households, as being presented by the Department of Jal Shakti. 12 crore households have access to fresh water out of a total household of 19 crores, 19 and odd crores. So still a good deal of work needs to be done. Thank you.